Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be building a mid-century modern home with a retro or mid-century interior. The themes kind of do overlap a little bit, that's why I'm not sure which one exactly to call it. But we are building in Oasis Springs on the Springscape lot, which is a 30 by 20 lot, so not too big. I wanted to keep this build a bit smaller after the last one because the last one was really big. And I managed to fit in 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, and then a nice outdoor area as well as some nice open plan living on the inside. I feel like a lot of the inspiration that I used for this build, mid-century homes, are kind of open and everything. You can like see everything from a certain space in the house. So that's what I wanted for this house. And then, as you would have seen in the beginning, we started off building on a platform, and the reason for that is because I wanted to use platform stairs for this lot. I didn't necessarily want to use stairs, and I couldn't also use a foundation because with foundations it will raise everything that you connect to a certain part of the lot that you raised on the foundation to the same height, and I wanted the stairs to sit at a different height, which you can now see in the front. But I know that this video is a day late. Usually I post on Fridays. I did post a community post where I said that yesterday I had a fever, so I'm recording this on Saturday morning, the voiceover, and I hope to get this up by Saturday night. And then I hope by this Friday coming I will be back to my regular posting schedule. I am feeling a bit better today, so I thought I could finish this up and get it out to you guys. I really like this build. It's so nice and colorful on the inside, and yeah, I just had a feel for doing something very colorful and so on. And so you can kind of see there that I laid out the interior. Some of that will change. I don't think too much changes inside. And then for the outside, we're going to keep it simple, and I did this platform box on the outside. You can see there by the glass walls, and that's because I wanted to place plants on there so that you can see it from the inside through the windows. I think that's really pretty. And then you can see that I cut out the box right there that I'm painting orange now, and that's for the front door. I wanted it to be more colorful, and I hope to put more colorful bulbs in this area of Oasis Springs. I was looking through Pinterest for some inspiration for these mid-century homes, and there were some nice blue ones, pink ones, and so on. So I do want to try and do different colors for this area when I come and build here again. The last time I built something like this, I only did the base game. So today we get to be a little more free with what we are doing, or I get to be. I always say we because, to be honest, I do sometimes think about building these things as if someone else is building it with me. I don't know, maybe that's weird, but it helps me get through the building process a little bit faster. I actually did manage to build this in one day, which is very fast for me, in less than a day actually, because I was busy with something else entirely, and I needed a little bit more time to sit with that build. Right now I'm looking at the exterior, and I've been staring at that exterior for a while, and I'm like, am I happy with this exterior? I don't know. So I was like, okay, you know what, let's just try something else. And then I got sick, and yeah, so I didn't manage to get this build out in time, but it's not too late, and better late than never, right? So now I finished the main structure of this build, and we're going to be doing the landscaping. I know right now that path looks really skew. I really need to focus hard to draw straight lines with terrain, and even in real life I am not good at drawing straight lines. My mom always used to say I was a smart child, but something she would always tell me is that I can't cut straight and I cannot draw straight lines, and I fully agree, I can't. So there you can see I went back in, I corrected it. Now I did place down those pavers, those square pavers in that path section, but I didn't notice it until later. But if you look at the highest step over there, it's actually 2 ticks up, which your sim would not be able to climb over. So I had to add another step here in front. So the first 3 pavers that you see towards the step side will be gone. I don't know if I corrected that on camera. I think I noticed it after I finished recording the outside. So I corrected that, and sims can get in and out. I play tested a lot. The only problem that I did run into was with the bathroom, which I'll explain more when we get there. I am so glad that someone confirmed my suspicions in the last video that I posted, that the routing has changed, and it has, because Sims are like really sensitive to it now. And I assume it's because when they did fairies, because of the fairies' wings and so on, just to avoid fairies cutting into things and routing issues and so on, they must have made the routing that Sims require wider or something like that. And so that's why you can't place objects as close together as you once could. So you can see there, I kind of finished up the landscaping on the one side. I used a lot of the landscaping that we get with the base game, more of those, you know, plants that you would find in the desert. And luckily with this lot, it was green coming here. Now usually in Oasis Springs it would just be like a desert lot, so I felt okay to keep this green. And then because I kind of wanted a lawn area in the front. Sometimes I don't feel right putting a lawn down in this desert area, but it kind of worked out since it did come with this lot. And then now we're working on the back section, but with the back I'm just gonna show off like the bones of the back. I'm gonna get it mapped out and everything, and then we'll come outside like when we're done with everything on the inside to do the back, because I wanted to get a feel for what I was doing on the inside, and I wanted to bring all of the color that you see on the inside to the outside. But obviously when you're starting off with a build, you don't really know how things are going to go, or I didn't know how things are going to go on the inside. So I then decided I was going to leave that like that and then come inside. So for the inside, one of my requirements was that I wanted a sunken lounge. It's very common with a mid-century modern and retro homes to have a sunken area. So I used the platforms that I, built on the outside on the inside to kind of get that effect as well. So the living room is actually sitting on the original level that the house would be on if I didn't build it on a platform, and then everything else is like 2 ticks or a tick higher, so that you can have that sunken in look. And then we're currently busy with the kitchen, so I decided to put this kitchen in this corner over here. It was the perfect place for the kitchen because all of the other spaces is kind of very open. There weren't enough walls for cabinets and so on, so decided to go with this section. And then I decided to use the Home Chef Hustle counters. They kind of have a retro look to them with the wood at the bottom and so on, and also the color swatches of this kitchen. So now you can kind of see that we have an orange, yellow, green kind of thing going on here, but I was kind of stuck on the colors and I decided to then change it. And I'm also going to change the tile at the back because I felt like that orange was maybe just a bit too much, even though it does fit with the theme. I went with this one instead, and I think that's from high school years. And then I love putting a sink by the window, so we went with a sink there. And then I'm just using again kitchen clutter. I can't get enough of that kit. And then for this area, I was gonna make it, as you could see, I had like the dual stoves in there, but with the dual stoves there wasn't any counter space over there. I did think about it afterwards, and I could have added a shelf to the top and then placed like everything that you would need to cook close to the the stove. But I like to have counter space around the stove in my kitchen, so I opted to rather place double fridges there. But I'm gonna remove one of the fridges and place a bin there instead, and then leave the stove on this side where you currently see it. I don't know, I'm still like going back and forth in my mind whether I should have kept the stoves in that section, and I don't want to do one stove and then a counter because I like symmetry, so I want counters on either side. It would have bothered me, so I just left it and put it on the side anyways. And then I decided for the smaller appliances, I was gonna make that blue just to bring in a different color. I would say that the swatches mainly for the house is like oranges, yellows, blues, and then I tried to fit in pink here and there. I kind of tried to force a little bit of pink in there because I like how orange and pink look together. I think it's just so pretty, the combination. So for the kitchen, we're mainly going orange, blue, and yellow. And you can see there that I used the stools from the base game when I was googling like retro mid-century modern kind of inspiration. For retro mainly, those stools would come up, so I decided to use those stools here. And then we have a nice big dining room, and I decided to go with this glass wood table. I think that's the one from Seasons, and then the chairs around it is from Tiny Living. Now I only realized a bit later on that the middle chairs are a different wood color. So there is a different swatch that is the same wood color, but it's just a navy blue cushion on the chair. So I decided to go with that one instead, just so that the hoods all matched one another. And then I would have loved to use this lights from Party Essential, but because of all of the platforms that I used and so on, I went with a taller light. And so the lights were just too high up for this build. I wanted it to be dangling a bit lower, so I went with the lights with the plants on from Blooming Rooms instead. I wish that they, with every light they would give you, especially if it's a dangling light, they would give you the options for small hall light, tall hall light, medium hall light, so that you could use it with whichever one you would go with, but they don't usually, or they rarely do that. Anyways, so now we're working on the living room, and I'm just getting in those colors again. This rug was actually like, it screams retro. I think that's from Businesses and Hobbies. I know it's from Businesses and Hobbies. And then the other couch is from Cozy Kitsch. The small ottoman is also from Cozy Kitsch, and then those orange cupboards that you see me placing there in the corner as well is from Cozy Kitchen. Obviously the bookshelves are from the Book Nook kit. Then the other two chairs are from Nifty Knitting, or the other two couches, the single and then the double one, is from Nifty Knitting. That fireplace, or it's kind of like a decorative fireplace because it doesn't actually have the fire situation in the middle, that's from Cozy Kitsch as well. Cozy Kitsch is a retro kit, so I used a lot of that in here. I used the lights everywhere as well. And then here I wanted a dangling light as well, but I didn't really like any of the other lights, so I went with this one from I think it's Tiny Living. I may be wrong about that. And there's 3 different wall lights for that light, so I went with all 3, but I just kind of like placed them around each other. And then I had this very open wall over here, and what is a retro or mid-century modern home without a record player? So I obviously placed that down there. That's the one from Party Essentials. I think we got another one with a later pack, but I can't remember. I just prefer that one. And then in high school years, there's these posters that look like they are made from CDs and record players and so on. So I just use that, put up there as well. And then here by the entry, I found it a bit weird that, there was like a wall or something coming in. So I placed a half wall down there. And then I'm just going to place an entry table. I am going to use one from the base game. I currently have that one, and I think that one is from Get Famous, but I decided to just go with that one from the base game. And then a rug from High School Years. And then I took out this telephone, which we got from the futuristic event thingy that we had, and then made that orange. And then the phone with the keys is from Everyday Clutter. That post holder wall thing as well that you saw me put there is also from Everyday Clutter. And then I forgot to add a side table here, so I just went back in, added the side table from Tiny Living with a lamp. And I think the lamp is from that I'm gonna go with, which we'll see in a minute, but that candle is from Everyday Clutter as well. And then the lamp is from, I think it's Growing Together, because I just recently got that lamp. I haven't had it for long. And then here I had this open area, so I decided to make it an office, and I wanted to go with a green, more of a green tone for the office. So I'm gonna change the back color eventually to a lighter green, because I wasn't liking that green as much. So we went with the green that matches the chair, or I went with the green that matches the chair more. And then that computer, I was kind of on the fence about the computer because I didn't want it to be too old looking. I feel like the people that live here are kind of modern, so it would be a better computer, but I ultimately decided to keep it like that. And then the photo frame that you saw me place down there is from Comfy Gamer. That paintings are, the one is from Pastel Pop Kit, I think, and then the other one is also from the Cozy Kitsch Kit. And then this, I forget which kit this is from, but I think it's Modern Living Room or something like that. It's a kit from a creator. I think it's from Purism. I always forget that kit's name as well, but I went with that for like the shelves and so on. And then the rug that you saw me place down was from My First Pet Stuff, I think it is, yes. And then just went with that curtains from, I can't really remember where those curtains are from, but yes. And then I just placed an ottoman from Business and Hobbies in there. Now we've moved on to the bathroom, and for this bathroom I start off kind of with this orange color scheme again, but in the end you'll see that it becomes green because I wanted to depart a bit from the orange. There was a lot of orange in the main living areas, so I wanted it to be a bit different. And then here is where I kind of am gonna run into the problem with the toilet. This is the only problem that I ran into with the toilet during playtesting, but I fixed it and it's working perfectly fine now. So for the shower bath combo, that is from Growing Together. I really like this one. I like it more than the one that I would previously use. And then I wanted to place down counters for the what do you call this, the sink area, but I ultimately decided just to go with a sink, and I'm gonna use one from, I'm not gonna use this one, I'm gonna change, there you can see I change it out, and I don't know, I think that's a Get Famous sink, I'm not sure, but the mirror is from Sleek Bathroom, and it's kind of fits that groovy. I just asked myself every time when I was building and I was unsure, like, is this giving groovy? Because that's what I kind of associate retro and mid-century modern with. So that mirror is the grooviest thing I probably used in this house in my opinion, maybe outside of the record player. So I used that there, and then I had like a lot of open space in the middle, so I just thought that I'm gonna place down a rug and then put on an ottoman, and then I placed down a tray with books and candles in them just to add to, I guess, the serenity in this bathroom. I don't know what you want to call it. And I felt like this ottoman from Island Living is kind of groovy as well, the patterns on it, so I went with that, and I'm going to use it in, or I'm going to use some of the Island Living furniture in the backyard as well because of, I guess, like I was saying, the grooviness of it. The patterns kind of gives retro to me. And then here is where I'm gonna run into an issue with the bathroom. I think that I placed the toilet too close to the shelves that you're gonna see me place down now. I made the pattern in the back with the wood slats or the wood wall art from Snowy Escape, so I just placed them really close together, but two different ones next to each other, and then I changed the one to a certain color wood and then the other one to a different color wood. And then I used this shelves from the Cozy Kitsch Kit as well, and you're gonna see I'm gonna place the toilet in there, and I think that was what was kind of conflicting with the bathroom, but the sim couldn't use the toilet, or they wouldn't go and use the toilet. So what I just did is I used the faux wall from the Sleek Bathroom Kit, so that I could move the toilet more forward and it didn't look like it was just standing, in the middle of nowhere, because I wanted to keep the shelves that I made there. And then the beams that you saw me put on the side, those are from Live Edit for the base game. I just wanted to frame those shelves a bit more, and so that's why I used those. And yeah, like I said, just use the Sleek Bathroom faux wall behind the toilet so that I could move the toilet a bit forward, and now the sim can use it no problem. So here we are in the first room, and I think this is like the guest room. So for the guest room, I really wanted to push the pink and orange. I so badly wanted it to be pink and orange, but the bed color wasn't necessarily fitting that idea in my head, but I wanted this bed because this bed is also like really retro. So I decided to rather bring in the pink with accent colors. So I found this rug, and I think it's from Pastel Pop Kit, and then I decided to go with these side tables from Love Struck, and then that the what do you call this? The lampshades are once again the ones from Growing Together. And then I also found this really cool wallpaper from Businesses and Hobbies. It matches the ottomans and then the couches that also come with Businesses and Hobbies. And then I just used the ottoman from Life and Death and then the one from Comfy Gamer as well. And then on this side, I wanted to add a, wardrobe. I was going to do open, closet wardrobes with Dream Home Decorator, but I decided not to. So I went with the one from High School Years. And then I wanted to add a desk area as well. But I felt like on that side, it was too close to the door. And I wanted, the space by the door to just be a bit more open, I guess. And so I decided to place it on this side instead. And I went with this table from Pastel Pop Kit, yes. And then I decided to go with the chair from High School Years, which is this furry one and in the pink swatch, obviously. And then I just decided to place different bits and bobs. I think this one is for a younger female sim. Maybe it can be like a mom and a daughter, or two sisters living in this house. I didn't really build it with anyone in mind. I just wanted to build something that was really colorful and that was in this mid-century retro style. I didn't really have any kind of sim in mind. So I was just, going where the build was taking me basically. And then for the curtains, I went with these High School Years ones. But as you can see, they were a little bit too big for the small for the window. So I just sized them up more with the tool mod. And later on, I'm going to remove that pillow because, well, you saw I kind of removed that pillow, but I think at one point I do try and go back and place the pillow, but it just didn't look right there. So I decided to just leave it as it was. And so now we are moving to the entry of the main bedroom. And I think it's definitely one of my favorite rooms in the house for how it turned out after. And I'm going to remove the window at the back because I wanted to place the bed against that wall with more of the wood paneling decorations that we got. There's actually a really nice one from Businesses and Hobbies, but I completely forgot about it until I found it later and the room was almost done. And then I had that odd one tile space there. I wasn't going to use it for anything, so I just filled it in with a platform, closed it up, filled it in with a platform. And then here I was busy trialing so many things that was not working out. So let me explain what I did. So at the back you have the wood paneling from Eco Lifestyle, and I once again just placed them really close together so that they filled up the wall entirely. And then at the back I have this marble accent table. I think it is from Get Famous, and I mainly just placed it at the back so that I could put different things on it. And then for the side tables, I think those are from High School Years. And then I went with the lights from the Book Nook kit, and I thought the light at the back on the wood paneling looked so cool, so I left it there. That's just a base game light if I'm not mistaken. And then yeah, just place different decorative objects on the back. So the one plant is from Horse Ranch, the other one is from Paranormal Stuff. That books is from the base game. The X knickknack is from Dream Home Decorator, and then the statue that you saw me place is from, I think that is also from that Modern Living kit that I can't get the name of right now. And then the ottoman is from Businesses and Hobbies. And then I had these two open spaces here, so I went with a mirror on the one side from the base game, and in this cabinet from Businesses and Hobbies. It's nice and sleek, so it fits nicely into that space without taking up too much space. And then I put that painting down there that is from City Living if I'm not mistaken. And then, oh yes, in the other room I forgot to place down curtains on the glass wall, so I did place down these curtains from Desert Lux. I always say Desert Oasis, but from Desert Lux. And I placed that in the room as well. And then you're going to see me place that in in the living room too. So yeah, I wanted to use a different door. I like the glass window walls, but I don't like how the doors look on it. So I was trying to look for a door that will would fill up the entire from floor to ceiling. So I went with the one from Businesses and Hobbies, and then I used a small window as well on top from Businesses and Hobbies so that it looked like it went from floor to ceiling. And then here you can see I added the curtains in the living room. I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want to take away from the openness of the windows and so on. So that's what I ended up with inside. Now we are outside, and for that skylight I'm using it's like a decor piece that you can find in Miscellaneous for island living, and so I just use that as skylights. It's actually meant to be placed like on maybe like a boat dock or something, so that you can see like fish under your feet, if I'm not mistaken. But I just use them as skylights in this build, and I think they turned out really nice. They look really pretty from the inside as well. And then for this top section here, I wanted to create some outdoor dining, so I used the table it's the round table from Growing Together. And then I don't know where those chairs are from. I can't remember. I think it may be Backyard Stuff that those chairs are from, but they have nice different wood coloring, so I thought they fit well with what, you know, the colors were on the inside. And then I just used the grill from Oasis. Oh my goodness, Desert Lux. I used it from Desert Lux. And then the side shelves or the side cabinets are from, no, the side counters, sorry, are from SimWithMishka, and then that light on the wall is from the base game. So I just filled up I filled up the shelves with different things that you would need if you are eating outside. So I took those two things from Party Essentials, the one with the, I guess you can get drinks from the one, and then the other thing is like popcorn and chips and whatever, snacks. And then at the bottom I put down pots and all sorts of things really, just to fill up the shelves. And then there you can see I use the light again from the Cozy Kitsch kit. That is like the perfect retro light, so I use that. And then here I'm gonna use the lounges from Island Living, because like I said, it has patterns to it that kind of fits with the whole retro groovy theme that I was going for here on the inside. This pool area is a bit small, I'm not going to lie, but I think it looks fine. I did later on, when I came back in, I changed, I know that the pool trim is going to change again in here, but I changed it later on to something that matched the color of the wood more, so that it gave the illusion of more space around the pool, instead of having this really colorful, you know, trim that you see me have there right now. And then, oh yes, the awning that I placed down in the middle is also from Desert Lux. And then those plants at the back, the hanging plants, are from Blooming Rooms. And then I just used the fire pit from the Riviera Retreat kit, and then the different outdoor furniture from, I think it's from Seasons, yeah. And then that plant that you saw me place there, the two, I think is from Love Struck. Use the base game table, and then I placed down a tray from Backyard Stuff. I think you can get lemonade from that tray or whatever. And then I had this open area, so I decided to make it a bar area. I used the bar from Love Struck, and then again those retro stools from the base game, yeah. And then I'm now just gonna finish up with the decorating. You can see I changed to that trim, but I felt like that trim still took up so much space, so I just changed it to a different one, like I said, that matched the flooring a bit more. And then here, just to create some difference, because I used the exact same plant 3 times, so I just wanted to create some variation. So I used normal plants, placed it in there, and you can see I also placed in the palm tree. But this is where I'm going to end the voiceover, because we're almost at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you guys think about this build. It will be on the gallery under SimWithMishka or #SimWithMishka, and I think I'll put the name of the build in the description. But if you have any other ideas, please consider popping those in the comments, and please do consider liking and subscribing if you do enjoy my content and you want to see more. Thank you so much for being here again, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.